My name is Sunni Holden. I live in Australia, in Queensland, in the Gold Coast, right next to the water, which is really, really cool. Yeah, my favourite passions are music, including the piano, the drum kit, and the handpan. My underlying passion, which is a complete polar opposite to music, is soccer. So I love kicking the ball with my friends. My friends would probably describe me as funny, joyful, and positive. So my family members are 3 chickens, Ash, Flaky, and Afro. And I've got a dog named Chili and a cat named Pat. And I've also got a little sister named Minky. She's 10 and she's the best sister I could ever wish for. A typical day for me would be, obviously I wake up, I'd probably hop on the pan, maybe hop on the kit or the piano. Maybe I'll kick a ball around the house. If it's a normal day, maybe doing a reel for Instagram or a YouTube video. My practice time during the day is from jamming out with myself. I can compose new beats and rhythms, grooves, and that puts practice in. If I'm practicing for a set or a gig, I would put together a set list of some songs, for example, like Oceans, Pandanus, and then we're gonna do a little speech. Then maybe do a medley of Journey Beyond Galaxy Tunnel. If it's the piano, personally I practice songs that I like. So, for example, the one I'm mostly working on at the moment is In the End by Linkin Park. If I go to drum lessons and I've got some homework for that, I try to practice those grooves. And for my birthday, I actually got these really cool headphones that are Bluetooth, so I can just go to the music phone, play what I like, and play to that. So the first time I ever touched a handpan or realised it was my passion, I was just strolling along the beach with my family and there was this shop. It was basically a fun shop and it had a handpan in there and I didn't know what it was. Originally we thought it was just a hang drum. I played it and somehow I just knew how to. I just accidentally played it and it worked. My parents, from what they've told me, had goosebumps. And so they asked the shopkeepers if they knew a lesson, like somebody that could give me a lesson. And there was this dude that's now our friend, he's really nice, and he was coming down from the sunny coast that night. Yeah, after that lesson, it was about a week later when it was my birthday. That's when I got my first handpan, and from there, I started composing music. I had my first gig. I remember saying to my mum and dad, "What is that feeling? What is that amazing adrenaline feeling?" And I remember my dad telling me, it's the adrenaline and the rush that every musician loves and lives for. And that's when I decided, yeah, music's me. My description of what it feels like when I'm playing or I'm playing at a gig, I get that rush and that little bit of a leg twitch. And I remember my second gig or something, I had literally noodle legs. They were so nervy. I guess when I'm playing, I just hope I'm putting a smile on people's faces. I hope that what I'm doing is helping people. When I'm playing at home and I get that catchy feeling, I go, yes. I actually remember it was yesterday, I think, when I came up with something I've been trying to get, playing around with my eyes shut, just not worrying. I just it just happened. And I was so happy. And I literally got up after about 15 seconds of playing it and went outside to my dad that was just mowing the lawn and gave him a massive high five and went, "Dad, I did it. I did it." And I did the same thing to Mum. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I've always wanted to play that, and every time I've tried, it's failed. And it's always been a style I've seen on a handpan artist I really, really admire. And yeah, every time I've tried, it's always panned out not to be as good as I hoped it would. And finally today, it just happened. It was just, wow. Wow, I can't believe I just got that. And just, I love it. I just love adding little chords or something to it, and it expands. So the feeling, it's beautiful. Just an expansion in my body. For those that are fascinated and don't know what handpan is and want to learn more, my description would be a domed shaped instrument like the ones behind me. They've got this shape and it's same on the bottom, and then they've got a hole straight in the middle which lets the frequencies and the sound come out and endure. UFO, maybe barbecue or hubcap looking thing with notes all over them that were specifically and delicately tuned to make beautiful pitch. Some recent events that I've played at, Planet Handpan Festival, got to meet some amazing people there. And my description of what it feels like to play in front of that sort of crowd, you know, I'm there to put a smile on people's faces and make their day. But the feeling is definitely an internal, oh yes, this is great. This is just so good. And you definitely feel that little butterfly and all the emotions just going, oh yes, this is so good. And you get that bit of a rush and adrenaline, and that's so good. I love that. I absolutely love that about performing. It's one of my favorite parts. So the feeling's definitely a adrenaline, emotion, butterfly. So I've been playing for almost 2 years, and my life has changed in a very, very positive way. I think it's opened up a lot of opportunities for me and my family in regards to meeting new people. A great one is Pan Oz and the last Sydney Handpan Festival. A great handpan player, Sam Ma, was there, and I got to meet him for the first time. He's been one of my idols for ages. And for my first Pan Oz Handpan Festival, meeting, you know, Baran Yildiz, David Cookerman, all of these amazing people, Adrian Portier, that was amazing. I loved it, and it definitely opened up a door. And at Sydney, last Sydney, I met Greg Sheenan, which was wonderful. He actually, this is his book right above me, Rhythm Diaries. Yep, such a great book. I highly recommend it for you percussive people. For performances, when I get nervy, like get that little bit of a butterfly beforehand, just that little bit of a nervous, ooh, all of this, I like to stretch out my chest. I just, you know, put my shoulders back and open up, and I drink some water. I try not to eat too much or anything. I try to stay light. And what I recommend for people that are performing like for the first time, just follow what your heart says to do as well. Is just, you know, stretch it out. In gigs, for me, I straight away try and distract myself. I go, all right, I'm gonna go play ping pong. That's literally what I did in Pan Oz, because some of the handpan players were playing ping pong and they wanted me to join because one side was uneven or something, and I went, perfect distraction. And so I went and did that, and that completely took my mind off it. It was great. And yeah, at Island Vibes Festival, I played tag with who I was going to be playing with up on stage. I literally just ran around in the grass and played tag. Before I went on stage at Pan Oz, I grabbed all the nerves, I put them under my hat, and then they went down to my heart, and it made it all happen. This necklace came from us trying to do a reel, and this guy walked up to us and said, "Man, that sounds so good. I was literally just walking past this alleyway and I wanted to know what that was." And it was me trying to do the reel with Mum for Instagram. And we ended up getting the reel done, but then he said, we had this big conversation about, just following your passion and my story. And he went, "Here, you can have this." And I'm like, "No, it's okay. It's okay, you can keep your necklace. It's all good. Thank you for the offer." And he said, "Dude, you inspire me so much. Here." So it ended up being a nice little moment. And it ended up happening, and I think this is a story I'll tell for a very long time. But yeah, he was a really nice dude, and great necklace. Music for me didn't come from any piece of my family, really. I mean, my sister, she likes the piano a little bit. She can play Furelise, not the full thing, like the dun 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 dun, but she can play all the other stuff, which is really cool. I found amazing. I still can't do it. I'm stuck on In the End. But my family actually, barely any of my family are musical. I mean, I just picked it up, and I think it all started when I thought I could play the guitar where I really couldn't. But at school, like when I just got to school, I was tapping on everything, just tapping on my desk. I used to get in trouble for it a bit, like, come on, really? It's not a drum kit. And then I remember talking to him going, "Dad, I want to be a drummer. I keep getting in trouble for tapping on my desk at school, and I see I have the love for it. I want to be a drummer." And I had this really dodgy electric drum kit, like it had rubber pads, tape on it to keep it together because it was all flappy, and every now and then you'd hit it and you could only hear a t, not a dum dum or a ta. You'd only hear the rubber just tuk tuk. Like, what? And over here is something I got for Christmas from my parents. An amazing Joey Jordison signature snare drum. Yeah, I love this thing. Creativity for me, oh yeah, I really find it important, and for anybody that wants to pursue a passion that they have the love for, I definitely think creativity by far is one of the most important things. Whether it be sport, being creative with your moves. If it's music, being creative with your beats, coming up with new things like playing 2 handbands or more at once. Even art, just getting creative, trying different styles, anything, creativity by far a massive part in, having a love for your passion. For me, I like to describe my music in joyful, happy. I mean, a lot of my grooves have the pop melody to them. Uplifting, again, healing, spiritual for slow things, like nice little scaly, blend, like all of this sort of thing. And yeah, that healing, spiritual, meditative. I think it was when we were up in Byron Bay. We had a handpan with us, so they wanted me to play a little set of some songs. The friend of ours was saying, "Wow, that's so uplifting and brings joy, and just you want to breathe it in and just make it wow." And he definitely said that it was calming and helpful for inspiration. Some people on social media were saying that, that some of them had serious health problems, and it really uplifted them and helped them along the way, and was, putting a smile on their face when they needed it, or if somebody was having a little bit of a hard time, they would listen to my music and it would help them, or any of this. And then my dad actually, he liked doing ice baths, and sometimes when I felt like playing for him or he wanted me to play while he was in the ice bath, I'd grab a pen and play something nice, calming stuff, like that brings him into the ice, and he really loved it when I did so. My main inspirations are Marcel Hutter, Manu Delago, Sama, and definitely Bahrain Yildiz. But in the multi-percussion scene inside, I definitely by far admire Jacob Collier. He's just amazing, and he plays the piano with like a little guitar over here, or piano with a synth next to him, and maybe drums with like a loop pedal that loops a melody or something. He's absolutely incredible. Yeah. No, nobody's finished. Everybody can improve and work on what they know. And for me, working on stuff is working on cool grooves, like melodies, like, okay, figure out some chords like dun, dun, dun. And then I picture, say if I do 2 chords, then sometimes, and most of the time, I'd picture what or hear what chord could be next, and I'd try and find it. And sometimes if it's not there, I'd go to another pan and maybe try and play that together. But then I'd go and make a chord progression, which creates a melody, and then I maybe level it up and, you know, add attack, and then maybe complicate the rhythm. So I think working on stuff is either melodies that are in my head or working on grooves I already know and trying to expand them. Environment-wise, where I like to, say, compose and stuff is literally on the couch through the kitchen just over there. But in nature-wise, I think in beautiful spots with leaves and trees, like pandanus trees. The beach, I think, is a very uplifting place. Like, you know, all the waves behind you and the sand. If it's too windy, then it can be a little bit irritating with the handpan. I love playing like next to small little rock waterfalls. Caves, they're like a dark, nice thing where you can get some echo grooves, where you can add some and add tons of dynamics. Sometimes you can find a great spot in the bush and it can be a little bit dramatic and themeful, like, wow. Where for me that songs come from, I think they come from here, here and here. Obviously here, but here and here are the most ones. Here I can feel them. Here I can see them and remember them and all of this. And when I come up with a cool groove and I go, all right, so this pattern that I've got and this pattern that I've got, and maybe this pattern is an intro and maybe this pattern is a verse, you can blend them in and make them sound great. Then that's, for me, how I compose them, from here and here. And yeah, I just go, all right, what do I name it? I'd love to travel. I can't wait just to be able to travel, meet new people, work with new people, and have so many new experiences. That's definitely one of my main goals. You know, playing on the main stage and traveling around the world. Yeah, they're my 2 main ones. More albums, more music. That's definitely a goal that every musician probably has. You know, they want more music. They want to be able to create more. I think, look, I'm so leaning towards mountains, but oceans. Peace, because that brings love. Morning. Dogs. On tour. Kangaroo. Barefoot. I think trust your wild side means to follow your heart. And yeah, to everybody watching, you go for it. If you've got a love for your passion, you keep going. You go and aim high. Don't let anything stop you, and just know that you'll get there.